What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and for the past several years in the entertainment industry, the go-to excuse, the first step that people take when something they make gets backlash from the fans is to attack those fans. They say, well, if you don't like it, you must be racist, you must be sexist. It's only bigots that don't like what we're doing, and it's getting old pretty quick because people can see right through it. They're beginning to realize that each and every time people take this tactic, it's because their product is garbage. It's because what they're making is not good and usually betrays whatever originally came before it, whether it's a brand, whether it's a franchise, whether it's an IP, whatever it may be. And that's the case with Amazon's Lord of the Rings. But in Amazon's case, they decided to go through this before they even put it out, before they even put a trailer out. They decided to start up and ramp up the attacks on fans to try to preemptively blame them for the backlash that they knew would come. And we've seen them also use the media to do this, not just traditional media, but also quote unquote fan sites that are evidently far more interested in pushing identity politics and in maintaining their access than they are in protecting and preserving what Tolkien wrote. And their most recent attack on fans was launched just a few hours ago. After calling Lord of the Rings fans racist, woke Lord of the Rings fan site claims to be a safe haven for debate. And we're going to talk all about that and this tweet from the OneRing.net in which they're being destroyed already, even though the post is only a couple hours old. But like I said, they knew that this was going to happen. In Amazon's first press release, they addressed fans and the backlash that was going to happen. They took that opportunity to call people racist, to call people sexist, to say you're a bigot if you don't like this, because they knew there would be backlash. But can you really sit there with a straight face and say, it's just a few trolls, it's just a few racist bigots? When in reality, when you look at the response, we've talked about this several times, look at this trailer. This is a trailer that has nearly 28 million views. It's almost ratioed. It's going to get there. I was not convinced it would, but now I think it'll happen. Now 9,000 likes behind being ratioed. And of course, the one from the UK, nearly double the amount of dislikes to likes. A huge ratio on that one, which we will continue to talk about, this backlash that has occurred. But this tweet from the OneRing.net is so funny. On rings of power and issues of race, longtime OneRing.net staffer and POC. We got to make sure you know he's a person of color, otherwise his opinion isn't valid. Sends word to marginalized fans that gatekeeping has no place in our corner of fandom. All are welcome here except hate. The problem with that statement is that you define anyone who has any criticisms of Amazon's Lord of the Rings as a racist, as hateful, as a bigot. So in reality, you want an echo chamber and will reclassify anything that goes against your narrative as hate speech. That's how these people operate. They try to gaslight absolutely everyone. So we're going to look through this here from bounding into comics. The Lord of the Rings fan site OneRing.net, which has quickly spiraled into an outlet plugging woke identity politics, has accused Tolkien of being woke and is now attacking Lord of the Rings fans by calling them racist. On top of this, they have the gall to describe themselves as a haven for fans who want open debate. That is laughable. The amount of people that have been blocked by OneRing.net. We did a video months ago talking about how they went on a spree of anyone that disagreed with them, they straight out blocked. Now, I don't interact with them on Twitter. I don't really sit there and, reply, tweet, and quote tweet a bunch of people that I despise. It's not typically what I do. So I have remained unblocked as of yet. But I suppose we'll see what happens going forward. In an article written by a contributor named Earl entitled Lord of the Rings of Power and the Issue of Race, the website implies that Lord of the Rings fans are racist due to their critical reaction to the casting of Sofia Namvente as the Dwarven Princess and Ishmael Cruz Cordova's casting as Arondir. The article makes it very clear this attack on Lord of the Rings fans is made in bad faith. While most of the cast, such as Galadriel, Prince Durin, and Elrond, were generally enthusiastically well received, those reactions to the rest of the diverse cast was rather dismaying, shocking even, and even those might be understatements. Now that is just a ridiculous statement. Although I haven't really heard anything bad about the casting of Durin from the picture we saw, it seems to be, spot on. I've heard a lot about Galadriel and the way she's being portrayed in this, and also in Elrond in the way that he's being portrayed in this. A ton of backlash, and all has to do with how they're traditionally depicted in Tolkien lore. The same reasons that people are upset about Disa and about Arondir. These are all the same reasons because of what Tolkien wrote and what every fan knows to be true about this lore. And when you look at the responses to this tweet, it's pretty telling. Velociraptor says, what a load of nonsense. The fan base has always welcomed people of all races into the fandom, and it wasn't through woke nonsense or forced diversity crap. It's through the love that we have for Tolkien and his work. Anyone that respects the lore is welcome with open arms. Someone else says, except that's not what happened. Most fans were concerned about changing of lore and its message visible even from the first photos. Complaints went from Galadriel Xena to no beards, Elrond architect, and no black elves dwarves, which all shows inconsistencies with the lore. You chose to not respond to the essence of this critique and started accusing the fans of racism. Exactly. Another one, to those that desecrate and dishonor Tolkien's work, they are not welcome here. All that love Tolkien and his work are welcome here. Someone else says, you are a nobody. You are nobody to take over the fandom and dictate what we can do and think. If the majority of fans want to gatekeep to protect the lore, you'll have to eat it. We won't let them destroy Tolkien's work like they did to the rest of the stories that we love. You don't speak for the fans, and Lord of the Rings Tolkien is much bigger than your website. We're allowed to disagree on these issues, and just because one does not support certain decisions Amazon has made does not mean they are racists. Like, over and over again, when you look through these replies, they're getting destroyed because they are gaslighting people into thinking that any and all criticism is because they're racist. That's what it's come down to for these shill sites. And we've had so many other examples. You know, I talked about, here it is, OneRing.com, which I would highly recommend following as opposed to the OneRing.net. They pointed out a ton of things that people are worried about outside of the clear depictions of these black dwarves, a black dwarf and a black elf and a black Harfoot, which are clearly deviations from Lord of the Rings and what Tolkien has written. One Ring pointed to Galadriel, commander of the Northern Armies, because although you can depict a couple little passages where it talks about potentially, maybe even like in the First Age at some point, Galadriel, stood with people and fought, never, especially in the Second Age, is she depicted as commanding any armies whatsoever. It just didn't happen. And of course, Elrond, architect Elrond, take a back seat to the strong, powerful women Elrond. And also the fact that they're pushing all like thousands of years worth of things together into one story. That's a problem for a lot of people beyond any of the racism garbage that they're trying to push. This is ridiculous. They're getting a ton of backlash for it, as they should. Fuck Amazon and fuck the OneRing.net for trying to convince so many people that, oh, well, the backlash, it's just from a few outliers. All are welcome here unless you're a racist. You define everything as racist if they don't like this. Clearly, from the reception, a lot of people do not like this. And when you combine both these trailers, the majority of people don't like this when you look at the likes and the dislikes across both official trailers from Amazon. This is going to continue to get worse because these people will always double down. They always make excuses. They always blame the fans when they get backlash for something that was their own doing. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.